Hello everyone, my name is James Klim and you're watching the director's commentary for Reign Segment 3, the final segment of my Reign series. So, Reign Segment 3, final one, I had to wrap everything up. How did I do it? It's actually much shorter than the other segments because it's really weird because so much stuff, in my opinion, goes on in this episode, yet it's the shortest of the bunch. So, when I first watched the segment, I was like, wow, this feels rushed. It did feel rushed, but after the credits, or like after the scene after this title comes in the second time, I thought that those ending scenes balanced out the first like 8 minutes or so. So in this scene we have Tom at the cemetery graveyard trying to figure out, you know, what's going on and all that crap. And I am aware, I actually didn't find this out until I finished everything, unfortunately, but at 1 minute and 29 seconds, I am well aware that there's no rain effect. I honestly have no idea how I missed that. I'm really disappointed because it seems like every segment I miss something very important. And obviously that's not really that important, but it's pretty, I say it's pretty damn important. But which made no sense of why I said it wasn't important. Regardless, I know that there's a part that there's no rain effect. And I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe I missed that. Luckily, no one complained about it except for like one person. I'm like, yeah, I know about it. Luckily, I commented about it before he commented about it. But anyway, the part with no rain's coming up after this scene, I believe. Yeah, there's no rain. See? Oh no. So, my bad. I love that scene where he tilts his head down. Like, the shadow of his figure looks really cool. Yeah, so voice acting is awesome in this scene. Like, Nikki's like, but, yeah, and in this scene we find out why Tom has been depressed. Or, you know, kind of down throughout the past couple segments. And we find out that he's been getting tombstones for his parents. And if you heard in segment 2, he talks about this where he says he's looking for tombstones for his parents. And the professor replies, thinking that his parents are dead. We find out that his parents are not dead. They just like planning out their future after passing. So Tom's been looking for tombstones for his future deaths of his parents. And I know like people were like, what? I thought it was an interesting twist because I never talked. I mean, I gave hints at it, but like I said with Reign, you really have to pay attention. It's not just there in front of you. Like people, no one ever noticed that they talked about the tombstones in segment 2, but they did. It's right there. So with Reign, like I said, I don't make things obvious. Some things I do, but other things I have you to pay attention and figure out what's going on. So a few people were kind of surprised about what the tombstone. I'm like, well, I mentioned it in segment 2. I really mentioned, like, he was there talking about it in plain sight. You could easily hear it. And people were like, what's going on? So pay attention. That's the biggest thing. Pay attention. I don't think it was that hard to pay attention. But regardless, and by the way, I use the Reach filters because I'm not good at color correction. And this is all Reach filters, by the way. And I think they look really good. I don't know why people hate them so much. I mean, could they be better? I guess a little bit better. But I think the Reach filters do a damn good job of what they do. And I thought it came out great. This part, Aaron replies, which I thought was honestly kind of iffy about this segment, where he figures out that it hasn't been raining he knows why it's been raining for so much, and he didn't tell anybody because he wanted to tell Tom, and it wasn't for Ted. Thinking about that now, it doesn't really make much sense, but it's okay. So this segment had a lot of over-the-top scenes, and I honestly think that the plane scene is a better version of the Rachel scene I did back in Deus Ex. Except I'm not screaming. But some people thought that this segment was, I guess, too ridiculous, and they didn't get the ending, and I'll explain the ending when we get there. But I guess this episode is hit or miss. I personally think it's a great episode. Some people say that it's the best. Some people say it's not as good as segment 2. I don't know, but I do like segment 3. I think it's a really cool episode, and I think it's an interesting way to end the Reign series. So, in this scene, Nikki's like, hey, what if the rain isn't a coincidence? We should go and check. And then they're like, let's infiltrate the weather station. So, they go to infiltrate the weather station. Now we're back somewhere in space. And this is like the climax. This is where like the space station is gonna plummet to the Earth if they don't do anything. And they're just they're screaming. I tried making it look kind of epic / ridiculous to a point, and I threw in a few references there, like the radio guys, like I have to get home before Californication season 5, or before Californication and The Walking Dead season 2 starts. It's funny because The Walking Dead already did start, but Californication premieres January 8th, so I guess I got it in time. But, well, actually, the second half of The Walking Dead premieres, so I guess we're technically right. Not to mention, this is like 500 something years into the future, so Walking Dead's still on. That's pretty sweet. So is Californication. But yeah, they have to press the button before they crash into the Earth. So this scene, McGraw Express, that's a reference to Feathers McGraw from Wallace and Gromit. So in this scene, originally in the script, this scene was completely different. I actually changed the scene up in the machinima. Originally, they were supposed to be on a boat, and that's why Ted says this isn't a boat, because I had to explain it. Because they said in the previous scene, we can use my boat. But I decided to do it on a plane scene because I thought it would be a bit more funny and epicer. So that's why Ted said this isn't a boat, to justify what was said before. Originally, they were going to be on a boat, and the Falcons were going to attack them, and they were actually going to shoot. And if you hear really quick, like if you listen closely, you can hear the beep in the respawn. I had 4 people, and the one that shoots the Falcon was either first strike, or the one that dies was the beeping. So, and I cut it multiple times so that way we can get rid of the beeping. But yeah, this scene was going to have a boat, and the Falcons were going to do more fighting, but I really didn't know how to do it. Plus, this scene is all done by myself, and it was kind of hard. So, and the aliens come in, it's so random and stuff. And I was going to put subtitles, but my production team told me not to, just to keep it a bit more funny-ish, less mysterious, so I didn't, and it's really over the top. But yeah, and originally Ted was going to fall off the ship and land into the ocean, and that's why he keeps screaming sharks, because sharks were actually going to come out and try to kill him. But yeah, it was a dream sequence. People say that it was stupid, but I liked it. Like I said, people say they hate this stuff, but I like it, man. I love it. And you know, people say, "Oh, you should take other people's opinions," but for God's sakes, I love the scene. So Ted wakes up in the apartment. Where's Nikki? Sex scene. I probably should have put some Tom audio in that part, but I didn't have it, and I think it'd be kind of a bit more awkward, so I just had Nikki do her little thing. That's my Skype, and yeah, so they converse a little bit, and this is just adding more to the characters of Tom. I mean, not Tom, Ted and Aaron. You know, Ted's freaking out, and Aaron's like, chill, and yeah. Even though this segment is the shortest of the 3, I thought everything here was pretty much justified, except for the ending. I'll talk about the ending in a bit, but actually, the ending was justified. I'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, they keep talking, and then he goes back to bed. Speaking of bed, I'm yawning. Sorry if I make other people yawn. So then the TV guy is talking, the flaming head guy. And after he finishes his sentence, we go back to the Somewhere in Space scene. And actually, I was actually going to change the Somewhere in Space scene to Weather Station, because it would make sense why it's raining a lot. Because if the weather station is going haywire, then maybe that's why it's raining all over the place down below. Oh, and by the way, in the previous scene, we found out that the rain's just a coincidence. But it could not have been a coincidence. Like I said, I could have used the weather station. Like, the space station could have been the weather station. And since it's plummeting, that's why the rain was all wacky, and so it was raining. Now that it's stopped, it's normal. I thought that would have been a good way to tie in that story and this story. And I guess technically that could happen. But I didn't. I never acknowledged it, so it's my bad on that part. But if I did, that would be a great way to connect that space station scenes and the scenes here. I think that would have been a great connection. However, I never thought of it until now, so oops. And then once again, Ted goes in to walk in on Nikki, except this time it's Tom and Nikki, and we do the same first-person perspective where Nikki's naked and Tom's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then Ted collapses and says, "Boobies, boobies." And then we go to the rain title. So at this point, the series, in my opinion, like segment 3 felt kind of rushed, and I'm like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. But after watching everything after the credits, and I count this as credits now, it felt good. So And yes, we find out that Ted likes to listen to Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter's like this really old 90s singer or something. He was a kid. Yeah, crap music. But yeah, outside Tom's apartment, they have to go clean up his car when it's pouring out. So I try to make it rain a little bit more. Favorite scene of segment 3, where Nikki and Tom are doing it. Yep, it's fucking obvious. Seriously, look at the camera angles. Am I too tight? I'm not going to go into detail on that, but it should be pretty obvious. My friend's watching. He's like, dude, are you a pervert? This is Machinima. I'm like, yeah, it's Machinima. I'm advancing it. But, yeah. If you look closely, the guy that gets into the Warthog, you can see the guy getting into the Warthog. I put cloak on him to make it where he doesn't, where he disappears. But apparently when you get into a vehicle cloaked, you go uncloak. Professor comes out of nowhere. I honestly had to include the Professor because originally in segment 3 he wasn't going to be in segment 3. But I wanted to have him in every episode, so I just included him at the final second out of nowhere. So the next reference, no one will get this. I'm gonna say it right now. It's I forget. Yeah, it's D3S1P2. 312 is Noble 6's tag number, and DSP is DSP from YouTube. Dark Side Phil. Yeah, Noble 6. So this means that the Reign series takes place in the Halo canon. So, yeah, I thought that I really want to... And by the way, they're not brothers. He just says, come back one day, brother. By the way, that is Karth in the background from Confederacy. Yeah, he says, come back one day, brother, as in come back one day, friend. I wanted to use brother because I thought it would sound a bit better. But no, Tom and Noble 6, they're not brothers. They're not. They're just friends. Boom. Created by JamesKlim, so credits roll. Yeah, I wanted to include the Halo canon because I love doing that because no one, like, they make so many Machinimas where they have it during the Halo Reach story, but they never actually interact with the Halo Reach characters. So I had Tom interact with Noble 6, and a point in the Halo canon where nothing happens. Nothing happens on July 20th. Nothing regarding Noble 6 or anything. So that was a way for me to make this up. And of course, in my opinion, I would like this to be real, but whatever. So we go to the post-credits, and no one got this. And this is only in here. This scene right here is only in segment 3 if I'm going to do a sequel to Reign. So like a series 2. And if I do, this character and the aliens will be in the next series. And yes, I'm going to reveal who they are. Those 3 characters are the 3 aliens from the Spark of Victory. Grapes, Travis, and Skep. Yep, there we go. And and by the way, I did the voices. Hello, hello. Don't encourage him. Oh, look, it's a human. Obviously, that's not as good as the one in the Machinima. But regardless, thank you everyone for watching Reign. I'll see you people in the next video. Bye-bye.